Mason, our sponsor for this week is a sponsor that's near and dear to your heart.
Yes.
Geek Fuel.
Love them.
I was going to say being cool, but that's that near and dear to you?
Oh, that's a good question. No, I think the coolest thing to do is be not cool. You know what I mean?
Intentionally not cool?
Now we're in a minefield.
Yeah.
Let me think. No, because if you're intentionally not cool, you're thinking about it.
That's right.
So then you're not cool by definition.
Right.
So you have to be not cool, but not think about it, but actually be inherently cool.
Oh, man, that's tough.
But the easiest way to get around that, you know what it is? Geek Fuel.
I was going to say.
Yeah, right?
But you said it before I could say it.
Yeah.
Geek Fuel is a monthly subscription box of 5 to 8 epic items you won't find anywhere else. Items may include and aren't exclusive to Avengers, Star Wars, Nintendo, Zelda, Star Trek, Batman, Doctor Who, Game of Thrones, a bunch of stuff. Every month you get an exclusive sweet tea.
Love it.
And this month actually coming up, it's exclusive Pokemon item.
Ooh.
Sherlock from the TV show Sherlock.
Yeah,
the
okay.
hit British TV show Sherlock, which I'm a big fan of, except for that last special. I didn't like that one. But I
Was
like
that the
it.
one where they went back in time?
Yeah, but it was maybe in his mind.
Okay,
mind
Well,
time.
I mean, it would be weird if they actually went back in time.
I guess it would be. I think this was weirder. Something important. And Super Mario.
Yeah.
Which is fitting because this episode will be all about video gaming.
Oh.
Well, not all about it. We'll talk about other things.
A small amount of it.
Yeah, a small amount of it. Now it's at least $50 worth of amazing geeky goodness
And goodness.
and goodness. A goog is an
Whatever.
egg, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
And it's like $13 to $18 per month.
It's also drugs.
Is it?
Yeah, I think like ecstasy or something.
That's not a good thing.
I'm not
is it?
cool though.
No.
Because I don't know about drugs, but I haven't thought about it, so I'm cool. See what I mean?
I know.
See what we did?
$13 to $18 per month, depending on what service you want. And also included is a downloadable Steam game worth $10.
Yes,
So even
very
if it was just a Steam game and just a T-shirt, that's more than your
I know,
value of the money is worth it to you.
How are they doing it?
I don't know. Some kind of tax fraud, I'm assuming.
Probably tax fraud.
Yeah.
Right?
So, but if
Anyway, support tax fraud.
if you go to geekfuel.com/weeklyplanet, you can bloody check all that out, mate. Helps out the show, helps out Geek Fuel as well, because obviously they get a customer out of it.
That's right.
And it helps out you because you become cool unless you think you'll become cool, in which case you won't be cool.
That's right.
Is that right? Is that how it works?
So don't think about it. Just go to geekfuel.com/weeklyplanet and order this, and then you'll be cool. But do not think about it even for a moment. Remember in Ghostbusters where they're like, do not think about the form of your own destruction.
Yes.
Don't think about it. And
Same
he does.
thing.
Same thing.
Good Lord.
Yeah. Don't think about it. Otherwise, a guy will come up and give you a wedgie. Your uncoolness will arrive in a form of
a bully.
Yeah, a bully, an angry spirit. He'll flush your head down the toilet. Anyway.
On with the show?
Mm-hmm.
Red hot comic book movie news, shooting up your butthole. The Weekly Planet, the Weekly Planet.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Weekly Planet, official podcast of comicbookmovie.com, where we talk movies, comics, TV shows. My name is James, also known as Mr. Sunday. With me, as always, is my co-host, Nick Mason.
I'm here.
Yeah, man, you are here. Big week for video games, Mason.
I know, right?
We're going to be talking Warcraft.
Yep.
We're going to be talking E3.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be talking other news stories leading up to those things.
Oh.
And then we'll do the What We Reading segment.
Oh, yes.
And then we'll do letters.
Yep.
Which is actually tweets.
Yep. Then we'll thank everybody we're supposed to thank, and we'll always forget at least one person.
That's right.
And then I'll feel bad for a week. And then I'll come around, I'll be like, I'll be sure to thank that guy, and then I thank that guy. And then I'll forget somebody else, and the cycle will continue forever.
Every show before the show, you're like, did we thank that person last week? You always ask me.
Yeah.
Like, maybe.
Who knows?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, well, let's start with a major Justice League announcement
Okay.
impending on
So
Tuesday.
we don't know what it is yet. Exactly, right?
Okay, a whole lot of journalists.
This is the movie.
the movie, yep.
Yep.
A whole lot of journalists were flown to London or got to go to London. I don't know where they paid for it themselves.
They were flown to London for nothing, basically.
Yeah.
Wow. I hope they all paid for themselves.
And we didn't get an invite, weirdly enough. Does that mean we're not journalists or we're not big enough, or both? Which is it?
I think we determined like many episodes ago that we're part of the indie, like we're the indie new media movement. We're not part of the establishment.
Yeah.
So we're cool.
Right.
We're cool.
But we can't think we're cool.
Don't think we're cool though, right?
That's
Yeah.
right.
But we're not the fat cats.
Yep.
Just lounging about.
Going a bloody
I
Justice
mean, we are
League.
fat and lounging about, but we're not.
We're not the metaphorical fat cats.
Yeah, we're literal fat men lounging about.
We look after ourselves. You
Yeah, I
enjoy
know,
a
right?
Diet Coke.
You know, right? Wait, so what was it? We don't know what the
We
announcement
don't know.
is.
It's going to be announced on Tuesday.
What do you think it is?
It's probably like a set photo, but we're like, look, it's the entire Justice League. This is the people
it'll
who are in it or
be
something.
because we didn't.
You know what I think it really is?
What's that?
Damage control. That's what I think.
Oh, it's
it is.
almost certainly that. Yeah, like because it wouldn't be Zack Snyder's out because they
No,
wouldn't.
it's too far in. That could never have happened.
And
Yeah.
also, like, they wouldn't have a press conference for that. They just throw it out on a Friday afternoon or something, so nobody would notice.
Exactly.
Yeah, I reckon it'll
They
be.
just throw Zack Snyder out of a plane on a Friday afternoon.
Right. I think it'll be everybody in full costume, maybe.
Yeah, potentially.
Or it might be an additional.
Oh, an additional member. Like we might get a Green Lantern reveal or something like
maybe
that.
just
Do you think Batman v Superman just finished up its cinematic run and it ended up getting like 330 million in the US. Avengers over 12 weeks. Avengers crossed 400 Civil War over its 6-week run that it's had so far. And Deadpool is now at like 336 domestic as well. So they wouldn't be entirely happy with it. So I'd imagine this is like Justice League it's like a year and a half away or something like that. Maybe 2 years, I don't know.
Here's our new plan. All movie tickets are going to be $47 to the next one.
That being said,
If you don't pay, you're a hater.
I was reading some stuff about the extended cut, which I was like, how can they kind of fix the stuff that I don't particularly like? I didn't hate everything, but one part
But if you liked or hated everything, it's fine, it's cool.
Yeah.
But you're wrong.
If you hated everything, it's fine, or it's not fine.
If you hated everything, that's fine too.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
But if you loved everything, that's cool. But you're wrong, but it's fine.
So one of the things that I read, I didn't go through all of it because I want to be surprised. So potential
And reading is
spoiler
difficult
alert.
and makes
man,
our
tell me about
heads
it.
hurt.
Just
Ugh.
But
just give me a pithy clip on the internet, some yellow text over the top.
absolutely, that's all you need.
So fresh.
But it was Superman. You know how he gets blamed for that terrorist act at the start of the film.
Yeah.
Apparently, Kellen Mulvey's character burns all the bodies, so it looks like that it's heat
okay.
vision.
Right,
So
okay.
that's one line they probably should have included.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you think that Superman doesn't riddle people with bullets, so it probably wasn't Superman.
I would have loved a scene of just Callan Mulvey and he's just pouring petrol on bodies and he's just whistling while he works.
He does look very sinister, doesn't he?
Yeah. But I just want to see a man enjoying his job, you know?
Absolutely. Even if you're a sociopath.
Hey, speaking of justice and injustice.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see they released 15 minutes of gameplay footage?
Yeah,
of
what'd you
that?
think?
It looked pretty good. I mean, it looked quite bare bones.
Yeah,
But I guess that's A, because it's not finished yet.
Right.
And B, because they want to hold on to some secrets.
definitely.
But
yeah.
apparently, like, the big reveal of, like, the game changer is they're going to have a gear system in it.
Yeah.
So, you know, every time you win a battle, you get an extra thumb cover or something like that.
Great.
But I don't know. Like,
For gouging eyes.
Yeah, but I assumed, like, based on the cinematic trailer we got,
Hmm.
that it was going to be like you could switch modes and you could be armored or non-armored.
Oh,
but
right,
it seems to be that it's just...
It's a leveling
You
up.
get the gear
Yeah.
and then in between matches, you change your loadout.
Is that a multiplayer thing or is that a single player?
That's the thing. Like, apparently there's gonna be some sort of, like, if you want to play multiplayer, that's gonna be the single player option. But apparently for multiplayer, they're gonna have some sort of, they haven't quite worked it out yet, but it's gonna be like, if you just want, if you can build up your character and then kind of go into a ranked match.
Right.
Like, I guess there might be a point system where you go, okay, this person has 100 points of bonuses, we'll pit you against somebody else with 100 points of bonuses, maybe.
Yeah.
But also, if you just want to start out and play, they'll rank you somehow. I don't know.
Okay, fair enough.
But the reason I mentioned it is because they all have dialogue before they start a match.
Yes.
And there's Gorilla Grodd versus Superman, and Superman says, "I ruled this world once. I'll do it again."
Oh, so it's
So
Injustice
that's the
Superman,
Injustice Superman. So that's
And Grodd says, "You're a real prick."
I'm a monkey. This is ridiculous.
What am I doing
I'm
here?
a psychic monkey.
I mean, he's a gorilla, but
Yeah.
somebody will tweet you.
Yeah, I know. He doesn't have a tail. He's a gorilla. I get it.
I've heard that the dialogue for that is really diverse. Like there's like hundreds.
There's like thousands
that
of
was it.
combinations, yeah.
It's better than someone turning up and going like, "I'll be the best," and the other person goes, "Maybe I'll be the best."
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
there's
totally,
but it's good that it's specific.
Yeah, but I mean, it looked pretty good. I'm probably going to enjoy the storyline. I'm going to enjoy the spin-off comic. But
Yeah, I hope so,
right now
yeah.
it looks kind of bare bones. Yeah, so we mentioned it last week. I remember I didn't finish the thought. I'm pretty sure this is going to be set solely in the Injustice universe.
Yes.
There's going to be a plot line. There's going to be like they're rebuilding the world plot line.
Hmm.
But I think maybe they're going to all be like put into some sort of arena battle.
Right.
Like some sort of fire pits of apocalypse
like
kind
a
of scenario.
like a
Like
dark
Dark
side
Side or
plan.
something like that.
Yeah, cool.
Because I think in the cinematic trailer, it's like every time you go into the pit, you become better fighter unless you die, because then
You're dead.
you're dead. It's not a good fighter.
What's the gorilla? What's he doing here?
There's a gorilla here. What's going on? What's happening? Anyway, that's my thought on that.
Right, cool.
Unless I actually did say that last week, in which case.
You may have. Doesn't
Or
matter.
I said something different
Tell you
last
what
week.
I'll do.
who
If you
knows?
did, I'll go back and I'll edit it out and I'll re-upload it.
Great.
I'll definitely do
Good.
that. That's priority number one.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Also, they mentioned that there will be no invisible jet for this incarnation of Wonder Woman.
Oh, boo.
Is that something that upsets you?
Yeah, well, it doesn't upset me, but I mean, I'd like to see
You
an
are
invisible-
crying quite a lot.
That's right.
I think that, you know what? I understand why they're not. I completely get it. That
Yep.
being said, there is a way you can do it. You can just say it's stealth, it's tech.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you don't have to say it's magic.
I mean, in the Marvel universe, everybody's got stealth technology.
Yeah, that's
it's
right,
just
yeah.
that flippity floppity,
It's just a
like that tile situation where
that's
the
right.
tiles all flip over and it's invisible.
That's right, exactly.
No, I like the idea. Just give me some comic book stuff. Just
Sure,
give
yeah,
me
yeah.
Invisible Jet. I like the Invisible Jet.
Okay.
I mean, there's been different versions over the years. For a while, she had like a shape shifting one.
Oh, really?
It was
Cool.
like a hair clip or something like that, and she threw it out and it kind of morphed into an invisible jet.
Okay. In the animated version, it was just a dotted line around a floating woman.
Yep, that's
if you
right.
remember correctly.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't even have to be invisible. It could just be like...
It could be visible.
It could be a visible jet. But I think, like, in this world of the Kryptonian technology and what have
Yeah.
you could just have kind of like a crystalline ship.
Oh, yeah, sure.
You can, it's clearly you can see it, but it is, like, somewhat transparent. I
Sure.
think that would work.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm.
So that means you can see the people in there just kind of walking around, going
Yeah.
to the toilet.
Yeah,
whatever,
exactly.
Whatever they're up to.
Sure. There's
Great.
toilet facilities, this one.
It's not even a big deal whether it's there or not to me.
Yeah,
But I think this is something that could
ultimately,
change down the line.
Yeah, and also, most versions of Wonder Woman can fly.
That's right,
So most
exactly.
versions of Wonder Woman don't really need an invisible jet.
No.
It's like
or a
when,
visible
It's
jet.
like when they give the Flash the action figure of the Flash a motorcycle.
Yeah.
He can move at superhuman speeds. Why he doesn't need a motorcycle?
Because it's cool, unless he thinks it's cool.
And oh boy,
There we go.
look at that nerd on his motorcycle.
Tyler Hoechlin, no.
Is that how you pronounce it?
I don't know.
I've been pronouncing it Tyler Hoechlin.
Let's just do that then.
Hoechlin.
Hoechlin. I've spelt it wrong here, so that's maybe why. Whatever his name is, that bloke.
That guy, yeah.
He's been cast as Superman in
Supergirl.
Supergirl. The people were saying, we even speculated last week, Tom Welling.
Well, we didn't speculate it. Other people speculated it, and then we just
We
jumped on it.
echoed that.
We're like, we could do some original research, or we could not do any research.
Yeah, that's right.
And Tom Welling could do with the work, I assume.
No doubt. Now, this guy, and I actually just double checked this before we
Oh,
started.
we miss out on a scene where Dean Cain and Tom Welling meet, and then they're like...
You don't think that could still happen, though? Like, maybe Tom Welling plays like a version of Cyborg Superman or something?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's possible.
Yeah.
I think it would be unlikely if this show keeps going that Tom Welling never turns up.
That's true.
I think that would be very odd
Yeah.
if that didn't happen. What was I going to say? So, this guy...
What if Tom Welling was Zod?
Nah, no.
Really?
He's
Doesn't
not
work?
sinister enough. He's got like that boyish face. Maybe if he
Maybe
had a little
that's the key,
goatee.
though.
If he had a little goatee.
That's what I'm talking
a little
about.
pointed goatee.
Or mutton chops.
Yes, that would also work, I guess.
But I think maybe we want we can get a different characterization of Zod. Maybe
Boyish sod.
Boyish Zod.
Okay, yeah. Right. Yeah, fair
Anyway,
enough.
Tyler Hoechlin.
Yeah, he nearly, well, not nearly, he was rumoured to be Batman at one point.
He was on that list.
Yeah, yeah.
He was on that list with
I mean,
Army
everybody
Hammer.
was on that list.
Yeah.
So, I just wonder how far that actually got in.
Army Hammer.
Yep.
A box of almond hammer. Baking soda.
I know what it is.
Surely that's the origin of his name.
I don't know.
It's got to be, right?
I guess, yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to be, but
But I mean, it's weird that it's a
weird name in general.
it's one of those names that would pop up like on Facebook, like somebody's made a list of funny names.
Right, yeah.
It's like, and then it's a box of baking soda next to him. It's like, Do you think people called him Soda in high school?
He's pretty big.
Yeah, okay, that's true.
Maybe his jock mates
Yeah.
called him that.
Called him Soda, yeah.
Yeah. I know it's a bit of I don't think teens are up with baking soda brands.
I guess that's probably true. All right, if he grew up in the 30s,
Yeah.
they would have called him Soda.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what do you think of the casting anyway?
It looks good.
He looks good enough.
Do you think, because every photo I've seen of him, he's got the 5 o'clock shadow.
Right, yeah.
Do you think they're going to leave that in?
No.
Do you want
I don't-
to
depending on what the state of him is when he turns up.
drunk?
Then yes, flicking peanuts in a bar like Superman 3.
Yeah, exactly.
No, yeah, but it's possible. It depends on what version we're getting here.
Yeah.
Like how far has he been? How long has he been Superman? Is he been on Earth much? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah.
What is all this?
what if he's like, what if his trick in this is the reason nobody recognizes him? He's got, as Clark Kent, he's got the stubble.
Right.
Heat visions it off.
Yeah.
Superman grows it back real fast when he becomes Clark Kent
Just
again.
tenses his face.
Just really make it really irritating for him and the makeup
Continuity.
artist and the continuity guy and the people who have to arrange the shooting schedule.
Yeah.
That would be good. I
That
think.
would be great. I tell you what, having a heavy...
And he rocks up one day and he's like, "Here we go, freshly shaved Superman scene." And they're like, "No, this is Clark Kent scene." He's like, "Oh," and they have to open the box of stubble.
I'd imagine it's just
stubble, stubble
It's
in a can.
It's just glue and shaved dog hair. They just put the glue on and just throw a fistful at him.
Yeah,
just
whatever
sticks to his
hits.
face. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, shaved dog hair does make you cool. So
It certainly
as long as you don't
does.
think about it,
So we've got some people rumored to have, or maybe confirmed, I think so, actually to have joined the Spider-Man Homecoming movie, which is due out
yeah.
next year. Martin Starr, one of them.
That's right.
Love him. Party Down, Silicon Valley, which you not really into.
I steadfastly refuse to watch.
That's so
not
good.
You know what? The first couple episodes didn't grab me. I'll come back.
I really enjoy it.
What is good about it though?
It's very funny. It's got
All right.
it's
A lot of things are very funny. This podcast, other things.
it's certainly funny.
This podcast is certainly a combination of funny and informative. What levels? Who's to say?
That's up to you, the listener.
If you've never heard a joke before and you've never heard of any of the things we mention on this podcast, it's funny and informative.
It's great. It's probably like, when you see the remake of RoboCop before you see the original and you're like, this is a pretty good idea. This is an A+. This is not an A+. What are we doing? Martin Starr. Yeah, it's great. And it's really, I like the kind of insight into the tech world and they kind of take the piss out of it and all that. It's cast really well. I know you should watch it. The other one was Logan Marshall Green, who you might remember as Ryan's brother from the OC.
No. I don't remember any of the names
Trey?
you just said, and I don't remember that character.
Okay, he was the guy who...
Was he in Phantom Planet? Because that's the only thing I remember. I remember the theme song. I remember that. And then Adam Brody was in Thank You for Smoking.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Was he like the up-and-coming Thank You for
Yeah,
Smoking
kind of,
guy?
yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
I like that movie.
Yeah.
He was also in Prometheus. He's the guy who David puts...
Wait, Adam Brody or the other guy?
No, the other guy.
Okay, right.
David puts the alien goo in his drink, and then he's like...
Oh, I
he's
don't
like-
remember what he looks
He
like.
looks like the poor man's Tom Hardy.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah. He's
Right.
actually pretty good.
So like everybody in the CW.
Yes.
Great.
And the other one is Donald Glover.
Oh, yeah.
Now, people are saying,
Could be Miles Morales.
if he is... It's possible.
But then he would be older than the
He would
current
be older.
Spider-Man,
Exactly. So
which-
it would be a change to the continuity, which Marvel aren't unaccustomed to doing. I think... I'd imagine if I was them, they're thinking long term, and they're thinking, look, as soon as the current Spider-Man maybe wants to step away in
Yep.
5 or 6 years, that's when you introduce Miles Morales.
Correct.
So you hang on to him until you need him. That's
Yes.
how I would do it.
Me too.
If I was in charge of anything, which I'm not and never will.
Yeah,
be.
right. Because we're too sensible, if
That's
anything.
right. Somebody said Robbie Robertson. You remember him? He was in the first.
Yeah, I know I
Spider-Man
remember, yeah.
movies. You
Yeah,
remember him?
yeah, totally.
He's a
Okay.
guy who's like, Spider-Man's pretty good,
Yeah.
but it doesn't seem like a. Maybe he'll be like a cool teacher because he's too old now to be young Miles Morales.
Correct, yes.
Because he's 33.
And
maybe.
it's too... It would be weird if they introduced parallel universe.
Mm.
I mean, you just did a video on like a Spider-Verse
I did.
series. But I think it's too... Because if they introduce parallel universes in a Marvel Studios film,
Yeah.
I'd be like, that's okay. That, we'll that's a really complicated wrinkle and we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But if they introduced it in kind of... Because Spider-Man Homecoming is still a side movie. Like,
Yeah.
it's a Sony Pictures
Yeah, that's
movie
true, yeah.
with Marvel's approval on it.
Yeah.
But if you introduce parallel universes, then people will be like, well, why haven't you put parallel universes in the Avengers
I think
movies?
I think it's something I should have specified this in the video because the video was basically I'd be interested to see a Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, what's the new kid's name?
Tom Holland?
Tom Holland Spider-Man movie, and I should have said
and Gwen Stacy?
yeah, and Gwen Stacy, but I should have said like 3 or 4 movies down
Yeah, okay.
because you need to establish the Spider-Man. Don't complicate it
Uh-huh.
straight off the bat, like
Yes.
Sony have had the tendency to do.
Sure.
So I probably should have specified that. But no, that is something I would like to see. But you like they're slowly building to magic and the
Yeah,
like.
right.
You'd slowly build to dimensions. That being said, you wouldn't need to introduce Miles Morales in an alternate dimension. You could just be like, he's the up-and-coming kid Spider-Man.
Yeah. Oh, I thought more in the sense of if you wanted to introduce Donald Glover as like an older version.
Oh, okay,
of
gotcha.
him. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
come from a parallel universe to warn you about blah blah blah.
Yeah, no,
right?
you're right. I don't want to see none of that, Mason.
Yeah.
I'm against that. Oh, well, unless it's done well, in which case I'm all for it.
Yeah,
but in
nice.
my heart, I'm against it.
Do we want to talk about the Spider-Man PS4 game? We want to do it
Yeah,
later?
well, why don't we do all that now?
Okay,
I've got
cool.
a list of
Yeah.
vaguely relevant announcements that we can talk about for E3.
Yep.
Video games are obviously not our area. That being said, let's bloody crush this.
Yeah,
let's knock
do
it out of the park.
Let's knock it out of the park. Let's do better than every video game podcast. They're aware of things.
They're on the pulse.
They've played
they have
games
all the consoles.
recently. Yep.
That's it. Let's start with Batman VR. It's actually Batman Arkham.
That's right. Yeah.
So it's like all the VR games that were revealed. It's like a short-ish kind of chapter that you play. Now it's set in the Arkham universe. It's Rocksteady are doing it, which is great.
Okay, great.
And by the sounds of the people who have played it, it's very good. Like you play as Batman and you're in his perspective, and it's like a detective. You kind of
Got your
see what's
detective
going
vision.
on. Yeah, exactly, and all that bizarre.
Do you think there's going to be any actual detecting though? Because if anything, the detecting has gotten worse
Yeah, it has,
over
hasn't
the
it?
course of these games.
That's actually one thing that what was the one that Rocksteady didn't do? The Arkham Origins.
Yeah.
They did the detective stuff quite well.
But
you know when
yeah.
you rewind a crime
No, I remember
scene?
that, but I don't think there was really no detecting in it. Like there was no gathering of clues. It was just you turn on the detective vision, you look at one thing,
Yeah.
and then it beeps or whatever, and then it points you in the direction of it, and you just move to the
That's
next
a good
thing,
point,
and then
actually,
you just no.
So
I
you
mean,
want
it was an interesting mechanic, but there was no actual. I would have much preferred if. See, and that's the thing. That's the dilemma where you want the game to flow properly.
Yeah.
But if you go, okay, well, here's a newspaper clipping and it mentions this person.
Yeah.
So now you have to go and find that character. I think maybe a lot of people would never make
never make
the
that
link,
connection, yeah.
and then
I guess you'd
that
have
would
to
just
have
be stuck
Alfred,
forever.
Alfred in your ear to be like, Master Bruce, maybe you should...
maybe we should check that
Get your
out. I
shit
guess
together, yeah.
I guess maybe if you could, like, if there's a clue,
Yeah.
and it mentions, it's a newspaper clipping and it mentions some mob boss or something like that, then you could just go, okay, well now I have to go through the street, maybe, find a thug and interrogate him and ask him where that person is and then find it. But if you didn't, and you could just do that on your own.
Right.
But if you didn't know, if you were stuck, you could then call Alfred and he could tell you that.
Yeah, it could be like, listen, I don't mean to tell you how to do your job,
I don't,
mate.
Mr. World's Greatest Detective, but if you maybe just follow a real basic clue. So I guess if you went into it as you might have to do some sideways thinking here and do some detecting, that we're really going to focus on that. But there's help if you need it.
The trailer doesn't actually tell you much. It's just like a bit of a teaser. You see the cowl, so it's kind of like you're inside the cowl or whatever. But you know what? Also, the detecting in Batman the comics isn't always great. It's
that's true.
A lot of the times he's found an enzyme and he goes home and he puts it in the computer and it's like, this is from Joker toxin or whatever.
Right.
Like there's a lot of that.
Yeah,
and
that's
there's
true.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But how does that translate into a game? What, you go home and sit in front of a computer in a virtual world?
Yeah, that's
Like,
right.
do you know what
and
I
you
mean?
connect enzymes Tetris style.
Yeah.
Or Bejeweled style. even. So how long is this game going to be? Is it tech demo? Is it like an hour long and then it's finished? Or
I couldn't. I
That's
don't know. I
that's
shouldn't
also
know.
another thing I wonder about with these VR games.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them are kind of glorified tech demos.
Yeah.
Is it just kind of...
I like the idea of a snapshot game where it's an hour or a couple of hours, but it's a really well crafted cinematic experience. And maybe you pay $20-$30 for it as opposed to $60, $70 for a full game.
Sure.
I like the idea of that.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, that is a concern that, like a lot of this stuff, it's just kind of, like Wii Sports and Wii Bowling, like it just becomes all that kind of...
That's true.
Kind of
Also,
shit.
have you written down Telltale are releasing a Batman game?
Yeah,
as well?
no, I got that here. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I've never played any of them. People constantly are like, you play Walking Dead, you play Game of Thrones, and
Fables. Fables is a good
as
one.
well. Yeah.
Yeah.
'cause I should,
Yeah, but I mean,
but I haven't.
sure. But I mean, for me, this if we're talking detecting, I think if anything, this is going to be
Well, yeah,
the Batman
that's
game
right.
where it's like this isn't going to be action paced. This is
No.
going to be
Enzymes.
enzymes. You got to. It's point. You're pointing and you're clicking and you're finding enzymes.
Another VR thing that
Did I mention the Batman Returns PC game, which was a point and click adventure? I mentioned it last week.
Boo.
No, it was great.
I say boo.
Yeah, it was bad. Now that I think about it, but I mean, good on them for breaking out of the mold.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Star Wars VR was another thing, which is to do with Battlefront, where they were like, and there was a big Star Wars reveal actually, which we can also briefly talk about. But you're in an X-wing cockpit and you do an X-wing mission.
Great.
That to me is very exciting. Because I always,
Trench runs,
Mon Calamari cruises. Yeah, no, that's cool. That being said, I'm not going to pay. It's $3.99 for the VR thing for a thing that might look. I think there's a very good chance VR will take off. But I didn't get the PlayStation Move because I'm like, was this really going to be anything?
Right.
And now
also
they're
you
kind of
need the
integrating-
space.
Yeah,
you need the space to walk around. I guess no, but you don't.
Now you can sit. You can just
you don't with Star Wars. Yeah.
no. I mean, and the Star Wars VR X-wing thing. That's kind of the perfect.
Would you play
VR
Star Wars
experience.
VR Mos Eisley Cantina, and it's just you chopping limbs off?
Yeah, or just tugging on bartender's sleeves
Yeah.
and ordering blue milk.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
good.
definitely. There was also the Resident Evil 7.
I didn't see it.
I
How's it
actually
looking?
downloaded it because if you have PlayStation Plus or whatever it is,
Yep.
you get the demo. So I
Okay.
downloaded it. Fucking freaks me right out, man.
Oh, really?
I don't play a lot of horror games, and horror games aren't really horror games anymore. The Resident Evil games are just running and gunning now.
That's true. Yeah, they started off. You had
You had a weird box-shaped head.
yep, and like it was Resident Evil, Silent Hill, and like
Yeah.
and those. And did you ever play Alone in the Dark? Which
I
was
did. I know.
many
it, but
years.
yeah,
I think it was rebooted a couple of times
yeah,
recently,
not
but
well.
yeah. But I mean, they started out as you were one person
Yeah.
against all these monsters, and you had to run and hide more than anything. And
Yeah.
now they're just like, you're fighting zombies and they got rocket launchers on them.
Save the
and-
president's daughter.
Exactly,
That was
yeah.
from 4. That 4 kind of changed that, but 4 I thought was a really good balance of horror and action.
Right.
And then 5 and 6 were just like madness.
5 was the one in Africa.
Yes, 5 was the one where you fight the giant.
You'd
Bat.
a flying slug bat thing. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that one. I played that one.
Yeah, that
Oh, yeah,
means,
so- yeah, go
so the
ahead.
demo, like, it's first person,
Uh-huh.
and you wake up in this creepy house, and I'm not
Oh,
gonna.
it's first person. That's
first
that's-
person.
Okay.
Yeah. It's VR, man.
Yeah, I get it.
But I don't have VR, so I just use my television.
Oh.
But I'm walking through this house, and there's a bit where you walk up the
So
stairs.
when you turned your head, you just saw like pot plant
That's right, yeah.
dishes. Great.
Uh,
That adds to the ambiance of anything.
certainly.
Oh, look at this resolution on this pot plant.
It's almost like I could touch it.
Mm.
But
Put this in my inventory. Walking around with a
stuff
pot
it in your
plant.
pants. Yeah. So I walked up these set of stairs and there's mannequins. There's like 3 mannequins against the wall. And I went to the table and had a look around. I turned around
Yes.
and one of them had moved.
Oh.
So I was standing right in front of me. And I nearly hit the fucking roof, man. Like, see, I just did not. Maybe I'm just. I was playing it late at night or whatever. Like, it was a cool demo.
Oh yeah, lots of excuses as to why you're
I
afraid.
think I'm just a fraidy cat. Maybe I
Yeah.
am. But no, it was very cinematic and very, very kind of not cinematic. It was just very creepy.
And is this a change in tone from all the
yeah, well,
last bit?
it's not like any of the other Resident Evil games that we've had.
You didn't have a gun.
No, you pick up an axe,
Yep.
a hatchet, but you can't really do anything with it.
Is this the same team that's done all the last?
I
Resident
believe so.
Evils?
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe
Because
so.
do you remember when Hideo Kojima, the Metal Gear Solid
That's what we
guy,
can talk about. Yeah.
he was going to do a Silent Hills game.
Yes,
It
it
was
was-
him and Guillermo del Toro.
Yep.
We're going to collaborate. There was a
Norman Reedus was going to be in it.
That's right. There was a demo that was released.
Yes.
And it was this weird, mysterious. It was set in a house, and it was.
It
all-
was very reminiscent of that.
Yeah, and it was like, and here's the reveal. It's going to be Silent Hills, and then it's like, actually, we're not doing it anymore.
Yeah. Because
Because Hideo Kojima got fired.
yeah, him and Konami. Konami are notoriously terrible with staff. Like, they are just a horrendous place to work by all accounts.
Sure.
So I don't know, they had a massive falling out, but Hideo Kojima's now with Sony.
Okay.
And was it Sony? And then he's doing Death Standing, which is like his new. Norman Reedus is in it. There was a trailer released where he's. Did you see it?
Actually Norman Reedus or a Norman Reedus
Actually,
lookalike?
Norman Reedus, because he was going to do the last one.
Yeah,
and they got
okay.
cancelled, and he's holding a baby and he's naked. I don't understand it. It was a weird trailer, but
Right.
yeah, I guess I'm excited for that. People love his storytelling. I think it's
Hideo Kojima.
confusing.
They do, but at the
He's
same
good
time,
at crafting a world.
he's good at crafting a weird, problematic world. I think. Like, there's some weird stuff in those games.
Yeah, sure.
There's
Yeah.
some very odd things.
Yeah, but he's responsible for some terrific like leaps forward in gameplay. I mean, you look at all the stuff that the Metal Gear Solid Gear games did for for stealth and shooting and all that kind of
That's
stuff.
true. Yeah.
And like naked Raidens running around the,
That's true.
the
Yeah.
compound or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah. South Park: The Fractured Butthole
Yes.
You watched the trailer for that. It's like
I
a
did.
Civil War-esque.
And I'm like, oh, the fractured butthole. And you're like, what?
I didn't even twig at all.
Huh.
But now that I'm reading it right in front of me because I wrote it down, I'm like, of course, like I can't believe I didn't see that.
But it's not. That's not a clever joke, surely.
It's a pretty good joke, Mason.
Well, it is subtle.
Yeah.
Gets past those senses.
So, got past me. There's been a last South Park game, the Stick of Destiny.
Yep.
Yeah, which was very well received. And this is like a spin-off.
Wait, Stick of Truth.
Stick of Truth, sorry, yeah.
Uh-huh.
I think a Pick of Destiny. That's
Yeah,
Destiny.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
This one is like a
This is their take on superheroes.
yes, their Civil War, their Marvel universe. But a lot of people have sent through that, the whiteboard of all the ideas.
Oh,
of
sure, yeah. Uh-huh.
Spin-off movies, solo movies, team movies,
Uh-huh.
Netflix series, and all that.
Yeah, uh-huh.
This isn't something that I will play,
Yep.
but looks a lot.
Is that
looks
so?
fun.
At this point, what of South Park is like CG footage and what is hand done? Do you know?
I don't know if they hand do any of it anymore.
Okay, right.
I don't think there'd be no point in doing that. That would be the long road. And the way the speed in which they
That's
turn
true,
out an
yeah.
episode.
Churn is always a bad.
Yeah, I know. Right?
You're gonna say churn. But
I
you
said
like,
turn.
Yeah. When was the last time you watched an episode of South Park?
Long time. That being
Same.
said, whenever I see it, I
Yeah.
do enjoy it.
Uh-huh.
I always forget
Yeah,
when it's on.
but my because this particular trailer, does this represent in-game
Yes.
footage? It does. Okay.
Yeah. It's. I mean,
And is it being generated as we watch it, or is it?
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, right.
I don't think it would really matter.
Because the last one looked exactly like.
yeah,
the
and
the
I've
show.
seen from the gameplay that I've seen of this, it also looks.
Okay. What is the
Exactly
gameplay?
It's kind of an RPG, but it's sort of semi-side scrollery, but you can kind of go
Okay.
into the foreground.
All right,
and-
cool. All right.
Yeah, and you create a new character and.
Do they have actual superpowers, or are they
No,
just
I don't.
okay?
I don't
They
think
hold
so. Maybe, but I don't
throwing
think
plunges
so.
around and stuff.
Yeah, all that bizarro. Xbox is doing a thing. Now,
Project Scorpio or Scorpion or something.
I don't have an Xbox. So I didn't watch the conference.
Right.
What are they
well,
doing?
I think soon nobody's going to have an Xbox because I mean the number one thing is that they're going to do
cross-platform.
cross-platform. So it's if you have a PC, you can run all the Xbox games on it.
Yeah, which is something they were.
And you can
Very
just,
much against in the past.
And they're going to release Xbox controllers that you can play without, you can use on your PC without a dongle. They're just Bluetooth controlled.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I think people have been saying that PS4 sales are so they're so far ahead of Xbox
yeah.
that Microsoft's like, well, we've kind of lost the console war here.
Right.
For this generation anyway, so maybe
So we're just going to force Windows 10 on everybody. I've
Yeah.
been fighting that battle for
you
months.
mentioned that earlier, yeah, right? Constant updates.
Yeah.
And what? And,
I don't want Windows 10.
Yeah, all right,
I
jeez.
don't want it.
yeah.
My computer worked perfectly. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, go on.
That's all I have.
Well,
That's
and they're doing
Project Scorpio.
They're doing a slim console as well.
That's right. Yeah.
And I know there's a big push. This is what I really like this, where you can play any Xbox game.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Like that's something.
I mean, many ways you can play any Xbox game.
Yes, you
just
can.
purchase the Xbox that's required and the
Yeah.
game, and then you play it.
Xbox, though, they shot themselves in the foot at the very start of this console launch when they said you can't share games.
You can't share games.
and your TV's
you-
or
yeah,
your
I mean,
camera's
it's-
always looking at you.
It's all you're always being watched.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
They reversed that fairly
like
quickly.
how dare you want to share a game with one of your friends?
Yeah. And
know?
especially because everybody, if you can't, somebody will crack it and people will do it anyway.
Yep.
Why not encourage sharing, encourage community and all those kinds of things? And
Right.
encourage playing with your friends and
And you'd
whatever.
be like, well, I'm loaning this to my friend and you can't play it, so they'd be like, oh, well, maybe I'll just buy it and whatever.
Yeah,
but if
but
you can crack
no.
it and copy it, everybody will
most
do that.
games that I borrow,
Yeah.
I won't buy. But I'll be like, yeah, I'd try that, but I don't
Right,
want to
exactly.
drop $70
Yeah,
on
yeah.
it. Yeah.
So yeah, was there any PlayStation
Exclusives?
release news? Or
Yeah, there's a
anything like
bunch of stuff. Oh,
Okay.
firstly, new Zelda game. People are excited for that.
Okay.
He's back.
that? I haven't played one in a long time.
Breath of the Wind, or Breathe of the Wind.
Breathe of the Wind. Okay, sure. He's back, that green-clad bard Zelda.
Yeah.
He's back in a big way.
Look at him go.
Good old Zelda.
On another
King,
adventure.
King of the Forest is Zelda. Good on him.
So
What a legend of Zelda, that guy.
God of War's back, but it looks
Okay.
kind of more Tomb Raider-esque. It's like a third person.
He's been rebooted.
Sort of.
Okay.
Because it's the same Kratos, because he's got the scar from where he got that bloody sword through him.
Okay,
a lot
yeah.
of them. I dropped off the God of War games mostly because a lot of people say this Kratos is very unpleasant.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
But because he's just rage.
Yeah.
And initially that's kind of interesting and fun, but he kind of it peters off because why is he still so angry?
If the rage never peters out, it never subsides. If there's never any moments where you break the tension, then it's kind of.
And this one though is Norse mythology.
Did you ever play Asura's Wrath?
No.
Okay.
What is that?
It was like this game. It was like
Is it a point and click 90s game?
Yeah, no, it was on like 360 and PS3, and it was like it was this mix of like, it was very anime styled, and it was this mix of like super high tech and like Eastern mythology, like kind of Buddhist and Indian and all that sort of stuff. And the world was amazing,
but the game
was just like, and the storyline was really good.
Yeah.
Ish. But it was
for a game.
Yeah, for a game. But it was like a game where you were this guy and you ran around, you shot a whole bunch of like foot soldiers and you build up your rage meter.
Right.
And then you'd like fight a guy and you just hit. It was just quick time events. Ugh. And like and it was broken up into episodes. So it was kind of like watching an anime.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't let you progress to the next episode of the anime unless you just button mashed in front of your TV. It was kind of like that. But it was like these set pieces of like the set piece is really good. Like at one point you fight this demigod who keeps getting bigger. Like he starts out sort of similar to you, and then he's like the size of a house, and then at one point he's like the size of the moon, and he's kind of like he's floating above the earth, and he just pushes like one of his fingers like down in the atmosphere to crush you, and it's it's like glowing red hot because he's going through the atmosphere with it, and all the ideas were really good, but game wise was just meh. Yeah. Anyway,
that sounds like it would have been better as a series.
Exactly right. Yeah. That was Capcom.
Right.
Because at one point there's like a crossover where you fight Akuma.
Ken.
Yeah, you fight Ken. Yeah, right.
But yeah, I'm excited because Kratos has a son.
Yep.
And I'm excited to see a different
Little Kratos.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited to see a different version of that. And this is a God of War game. I didn't play the last one. It was like a prequel. I was just like, I can't do that anymore. But this one, I will definitely. I actually got the PlayStation 3 because of God of War.
Is your son like a bonus character?
I think he's a little helpy guy.
Okay, sure.
I think he's there for most of the game. So like you can command him to go and fight the fiery demon horse or whatever, and then you go and fight a different horse.
Okay, sure.
The regular
right.
horse.
You know what's always great? Bloody CPU controlled characters. Like,
that being said, it's changed.
Okay.
Like you look at Last of Us, a lot of games do it really, really well.
But some games do it very poorly
But Santa Monica Studios, who do like God of War, like they're a great studio. It's not something that concerns me. Like they'll do it well. We got
They do good games. They do Everclear albums.
We got a Last Guardian release date in October.
Oh, that's a
game that's been coming for like 8 years.
I was going to say, I remember that. I remember trailers for that years ago. I assumed that game had come out and we were done with it.
No.
Is that's the people that did Shadow of the Colossus?
Yes, which is amazing.
Right.
I love that game.
Yeah.
So apparently by the people who've played it, it's
and
very...
Eco?
Yeah, one of those.
Right.
Yeah. Hoechlin.
Great.
Apparently it's very... it plays like a last generation game. Because it is.
Yeah, right.
You know,
they didn't finish it before the last generation finished up.
That's right. There was a lot of like creative people falling on and off. And
is this the new Duke Nukem Forever?
I don't think it can. I'll be getting it.
Okay,
but I don't think it'll live up to expectations.
Right. Okay.
So I'll just bear that in mind.
What about a VR Shadow of the Colossus?
I still don't know. How would you do the climbing?
Don't know.
Yeah.
It's not for me to determine. It's for the boffins over at whatever that company's called.
Yeah. The massive reveal, probably the most exciting thing for me anyway, is the Insomniac Spider-Man game.
Yeah, it looks good.
PlayStation 4 exclusive, which a few people are annoyed about.
But it's Sony. What are they going to?
Sony, exactly.
Right.
That's basically the reason. That's not to say that maybe it will eventually become a PC or an Xbox title.
Yeah.
Because that happens.
Yep.
But for the moment, just PlayStation.
Now, I would say the number one concern. Well, I mean, there'd be two concerns.
Right.
One is, what is the web swinging like? Because you
Yes.
want to have good web
All
swinging.
I want someone to say is, look, the web swinging is Spider-Man 2.
Right.
Did I say web swing or web swinging? Swinging.
Web swinging. Yeah, so is the web swinging good?
Yeah.
Is it, free flowing, and does it make you feel like you are Spider-Man?
Yep.
And the number two concern is the costume.
Yes.
Because it's a new costume.
Yep.
As far as I know, we've never seen this in a comic book or a cartoon or a movie or anything like that. I think it looks good.
I don't think it matters. I think
Right.
I think you're going to be able to reskin him. Like,
Oh, exactly. There'll be classic
Whatever.
Spider-Man. You'll be able to do Scarlet Spider.
Yeah, yeah.
Be able to wear a sleeveless hoodie.
that's right. Exactly.
No, you're right.
Maybe that's something like a component you can change very early on in the game.
True,
Who
maybe.
knows? Maybe it's not. I don't care. If it
Maybe
plays well, I
it's-
don't care.
Exactly, maybe, and because he's got the Civil War
He
eye
does,
shutters,
yeah.
so you might meet Tony Stark, and he's like, "Hey, here's your new suit," or kind of thing.
Yeah, that's right.
I really like the design. I am always a big. I'm maybe more so recently, but I'm a big fan of when they tweak a costume a little bit. Like
Yeah.
even with the Marvel movies, they change
Yep.
Captain America's costume every time. They change Iron Man's suit
Yep.
every time. I like it.
You like Superman removing his underwear?
Sensually, I like him removing it. Sometimes that design works. Yeah. But live action underpants are always very strange.
Yeah, definitely. I can't argue with that.
But I really like the design.
yeah, okay.
It's got the web spinnerets on the gloves. Looks good.
I follow those Insomniac who did like.
I really like the 90s Spider-Man costume, the Ben Reilly one.
Yeah, I like that one too. Yeah.
It became the Spider-Girl costume.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
the Insomniac who's they did the Resistance games,
Yep.
which I enjoyed, and they did an open world driving game recently. Apparently it's an older Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It's not connected to the cinematic universe.
Okay.
And all the Marvel games which are going to be rolling out, this is the first of apparently many rumored, they're not tied. They're in their own universe.
Okay.
And they're not tied to the movies.
Is it a shared universe though?
Yeah, I think it would
If they do
be, yeah.
if they say you do a new Iron Man game, will
Yeah.
it be in this Spider-Man
I would
universe?
imagine so. I don't know. This is just the rumor.
Yeah.
But that's the way. There's been so many terrible Marvel tie-in games.
Yes.
Most of them, except for Captain America, which is
Correct.
pretty good. Like the Thor's terrible. There's like 3 Iron Man games and they're all bad.
Yep.
Like they're just Sega, whatever you call them. They did them all, and
Yep.
they're pretty much all crap from all accounts.
Yeah, and I feel part of the reason for that is that they have such a limited time to make.
That's
them.
exactly right,
Because they
yeah.
can't go, okay. I was recently on an episode of Filthy Casuals, video
Yeah,
games
yeah.
podcast, and I said pretty much the same thing. That is, people should go and listen to that because they have some E3 thoughts this week, and it's very good.
Probably better than ours,
Almost
if you can
certainly.
believe it.
Yeah, I know, right? But if Marvel go, okay, there's going to be another Captain America movie in 2 years.
Yeah.
They can't give all the details of that movie to
No,
to
that's
the
right,
video game
yeah.
company and say, work off this script and put in all these action set pieces, because invariably somebody will leak that.
Yeah.
Or the code will be released on the internet, and all of a sudden you know the entire plot of
right.
the next Captain America movie. So they basically wait until the movie's nearly finished, then go, you've got 2 months.
Yeah. What do you got?
What do you got? So what you got?
And then you have to build levels around specific things from the movie.
Right, exactly.
And
yeah.
apparently the developers of all these games, which are rumored to be coming out, they're excited by the freedom that you
Yeah.
get when you can just go like, do whatever you want.
That's why the Arkham games are great.
That's right.
Because it's sort of the cartoon version, but a darker version.
Yep.
There's elements from the movies, there's elements from the comics.
Yep.
Throw in whatever you want, and it worked out.
There's a good chance that I think this will be the Arkham of kind of Spider-Man game.
Okay.
Yeah. Good chance. Not 100%, but I'm positive.
Oh, sure.
I'm feeling positive
Great.
about it.
Folks, note down, he's made another grand proclamation about what is going to be good or great. Let's see what
I'm
happens.
feeling positive.
What do you think the fighting system's going to be like?
I think it's going to be like the Arkham system, but more jumpy.
Okay, what have the previous Spider-Man fighting game systems been like?
Shit house. Even in Spider-Man 2,
Yep.
it's very clunky. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because in this trailer
no,
you see like Spider-Man, and he webs up a guy, and then he flips over the guy, and he lifts the guy off the ground, and he smashes him into the roof of the
Yeah.
building. How would that have played out in like one of the previous
It'd
Spider-Man
be like
games?
AA, jump B.
I hate those. Yeah,
So-
exactly.
So I think it'll be much clearer than that. Also, you see a guy like web a guy out of a car, and
Yeah.
like you do that in the old Spider-Man games, but a lot of the time it's just a quick time event, and you end up
Right.
doing it 1,000 times.
You also see Spider-Man pick up like an air conditioning unit with a web and hit a guy in the face with it. That guy's definitely dead. But yeah, like I would want to feel like Spider-Man in these games.
Yeah.
I would want maybe you've got a button for webbing, you hit him with the webbing,
Yep.
and then you've got a measure of control of what you do there.
Right,
Like then
yeah.
you pull back on the stick and he lifts the guy off the
Yeah.
ground, and then you turn right and then he spins him or what have
Yeah.
you. Like if it's just AABY or
No.
whatever, that doesn't feel
No, I agree.
that feels clunky, and you have to memorize. I, as someone who's not a very good
memorizer.
And I'm not a combo guy
No,
or anything
me
like
neither,
that.
yeah.
I don't want to have to memorize a long string of buttons to make something happen. I want to feel like I'm Spider-Man and go, okay, well, I've hit him with a web. What would Spider-Man do now?
Yeah.
He'd pull back.
Yeah,
So
if you hit punch, maybe he pulls him in and you hit him in the face.
Exactly.
like,
Right.
yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
We know what's up.
We know exactly how to
Video
make
game
video
designers
games.
just make games the way we want, and then I'll play them in a year's time when they're cheap.
The last thing I want to talk about, I'm sure we're missing a lot of stuff, but the game that ended the PlayStation conference was called, what was it? Oh my god, Days Gone, a zombie game.
Okay.
And it was weird because they showed the trailer for it early on, and then they ended with gameplay, and it was like spilling over World War Z zombies, like hundreds, and it looked pretty cool. But everyone was like, "That's a weird game to end on," especially because you revealed it earlier.
Right.
And the rumor is that Rockstar were going to turn up.
Oh, I heard about this, right?
And reveal the new Red Dead, but because of the shooting, they thought it would be in poor taste. Because
Which
apparently
shooting
goes into a bar.
specifically Orlando?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
There's been a lot this week.
Yeah. So I can understand why they didn't turn up.
Yep.
I also don't begrudge anybody that would and just like presses on with what they were doing. You know, that's a call
Right,
that
exactly.
they wanted
Because
to make,
it's the video game industry. It's not. They're not the government.
No, exactly.
They don't have to address it.
Yeah, yeah.
And 99% of more than that, 99.999% of people who play video games are just playing video games.
That's right, yeah.
So they don't have to, you know.
No. But I can understand because there would have been backlash. Like the media would be like, "The video games are killing kids or whatever."
Right.
It's not.
And
the-
it's because it's a. It would be good if that were the case, because then there'd be an off switch.
right.
Let's not get political, but if video games were causing violent behavior, you could just ban video games,
Yeah.
and that would be great. But that's not the reason. What was this other game?
Days Gone.
Yeah, zombies.
Zombies.
Okay.
It's got the dude from The Force Unleashed as the main guy.
Oh.
It's like you're in a bikie gang, but then there's the zombie apocalypse.
Do you think that's just because they had his character model left over from something else? Do you think they bought it from the Force Unleashed guys? They're
It's
just
probably been a bit dated by now.
That's true.
But it's possible. Anything's possible, Mason.
Yeah.
Not anything.
I guess it's kind of like the same people who do superhero movies keep showing up again and again because they know how to work with green screens.
Right.
They've gotten this guy because he knows how to wear a ping pong ball thing on his head.
Exactly. He is. He's good. And he's a great voice actor as well.
Yeah.
What's his name? Can't remember. I'm looking up his name. Force Unleashed actor. He does the voice of the Emperor in Rebels and stuff.
Oh.
It's quite diverse.
Oh.
It says Jimmy Smits.
It's not Jimmy Smits.
Sam Witwer. That's
There we
him.
go, yeah.
He's great. Okay, Mason, we're going to talk about Warcraft, but before that, we've hopefully
Did
done...
you just refer to it as Warcrap? That's what I heard.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't mean to say that.
Oh!
We've got an Independence Day commentary, hopefully.
Yeah.
Up. It should be up right now. It's in the description. Independence Day is coming out this week. We'll be doing an episode on next week. Independence Day Resurgence, sorry.
Correct.
So if you want to check out the other one.
The 1996 classic,
Yes.
20 years today.
Yep, that's right. This very day.
Mm.
Yeah, so we haven't done it yet, but I'm sure it's great.
Oh, yeah.
If you're a Patreon, it's there. It's already available.
Yep.
You could also just go into Bandcamp. You can pay like $1 or $2 or whatever it is and download it, or you can just play it from there for free. Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
We don't
All
care,
you can do,
man.
as some people do, just listen to it and not watch the movie.
Yeah.
We get a lot of people saying that.
That's right.
We get two things at this podcast, more than you'd think we'd get.
Yeah.
Number one is I listen to your audio commentaries without watching the movie.
Yeah.
And I still had a pretty good time, so that's good. And also, hey guys, if you listen to your podcast at half speed, you guys sound drunk. What's that keep happening? I don't
don't know.
understand, right?
I couldn't
Very
tell
odd.
you.
But
I
keep
couldn't
doing
tell
it.
you.
However you
Please.
like to listen to it. Thank you.
Whatever bloody gets you through.
As long as you're subscribing at bloody regular speed.
You know it, mate.
Leave a 5-star review at double speed, mate.
Double speed. Double
Click,
the
click.
speed. Get into it. So we find this all Warcraft this week because it just came out here.
Yes, we did.
A week
Yeah.
later than it was everywhere else in the world.
Uh-huh.
We're going to go spoiler free then spoilers. We don't have a hell of a lot to say.
Good thing E3 happened.
Thank God.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's... I have some thoughts and you also have some
I have
thoughts.
some thoughts also.
But before you get to the thoughts, Mason, what do you think the story was?
Oh, no. All right. So, let me get my bearings. We need a theme tune for what do you think the plot was?
Right.
All
not
right.
editing it
So,
It should be just...
okay. So there's a world of orcs.
Yeah.
I think it's another world. It's not another dimension.
Right.
But they have there's magic called the Fel. It's like an evil green magic, and it's ruined the world.
Yeah.
Of
orcs.
Of orcs. and so they need another planet to call home. And so the evil head of the orcs, who's an orc and also a wizard,
Yeah.
he
A Wiz-Orc.
he's a wizorc. He has decided to. His plan is to open up a portal to the good guys' planet.
Yep.
Which the name of which is Azeroth.
Azeroth, yeah.
Azeroth, and in order to use this magic, in order to open the portal, they have to sacrifice a lot of lives.
Yes.
And so they've only got enough lives on hand to send a few orc warriors through the portal.
Yeah.
And then once they have defeated all the good guys on the other side of the portal, they will sacrifice a whole bunch more lives.
Yep.
And they'll open up the portal and all the orcs will come through.
It'd be an orc-apocalypse.
It'd be pretty awkward for humanity. So
Definitely.
yeah, so anyway.
But maybe there's good guys and bad guys on both sides.
There's good guys on both sides, yeah.
Interesting dynamic.
That's very, very interesting.
What did you think of the movie in general?
Look, it took a really long time to get started.
Yeah,
I
it
felt
felt a bit like that,
there was
yeah.
half an hour. But that's the thing, like, I went out on Twitter last night and I asked listeners, the weekly wackadoos, the listeners of our show, if you're a big fan of Warcraft and World of Warcraft, what do you think of the lore of this movie? Like, what did you think? Did they do a good job with it?
Yes.
Did they?
Was it accurate? Was it faithful?
Was it faithful?
Or what they changed? Were you okay with it?
Yeah. And for the most people said they changed some things for the better. Like they streamlined it.
Yeah.
Like, they took some of the stuff that was much further on in the game world, and they just put it in at the start.
Sure. Yeah.
Most people were like this movie was quite accurate.
Yeah.
As far as that went. But again, I should have asked this as a follow-up question, which was, if you didn't know anything about Warcraft, like what would you feel about the opening sequences and the character development, stuff like that? As somebody who doesn't know anything about Warcraft, I felt that there was a lot of nothing at the start. Yeah. But I guess if you knew a lot about Warcraft, you would have been like, oh, it's that character, it's that character, and it's this event, and it's this place.
Yeah.
I also didn't get... For me, it was quite difficult to determine where things were happening.
Right.
Because at the start, we got a lot of locations.
Yep.
And we got a lot of characters, a lot of locations, and I was like, where are these taking place?
Right.
Are these next to each other? Are they a really long way away?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I found at the start... First of all, the opening is in one of the trailers. It's just an orc and a human. And apparently it's inspired by Sergio Leone. Where they kind of... It's just an orc and a human facing off each other. I think that guy's Callan Mulvey.
You mentioned that at the time.
Sure.
You yelled it really loud in the cinema.
Out the patron saint of this podcast.
Correct.
I thought that was a really exciting opening. And then
me too. That was quite creative.
Yeah.
We've done... What was that movie? I Was Dracula Untold, where there was an action sequence filmed from sword point. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
It was real bad. Yeah. But anyway...
It was an interesting idea.
That was quite creative, this opening sequence.
And then it cuts to the orc stuff. And the orc stuff for this entire movie, I found really, really engaging. I found they were really well designed.
With these the orc character designs, I think they, in terms of, they looked, for the most part, they looked quite real.
Yeah.
And they did the eyes well, which is a key point for CGI characters generally. I felt initially that they had a lot of weight to them.
Right.
Like in their initial appearance, in the initial battle, there's initial sort of an ambush situation between orcs and humans early on, and I felt they had a lot of weight to them. They felt like very threatening,
like one hit and you
like these monstrous kind of
broken.
like these kind of flying boulder kind of characters where if you were hit by them, you splintered into a million pieces. You're done. But I felt as the movie progressed, they became less and less threatening. They became everybody became more cannon fodder. They lost a lot of physical weight to them. I don't know.
And a bit of that, I think, has to do with one of the lead guys figures out that you don't match them strength for strength. You have speed as the advantage. Because they can't turn the way that you can turn and that a human can turn, I should say. But no, I found the orc characters far more engaging than the human characters.
Yes.
I thought the orc characters were much better cast.
Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
In general, especially the lead orc played by Toby Kebbell. And I like the stakes of his because he's got this child come into the world and he's just trying to find a home for his family. I found all that very, very interesting. But then it kind of cuts to the human side of it. And that's where it sort of started to lose me a bit. In terms of, there was like a 10-minute conversation with a wizard. and I remember we just like turned to each other at one point and we're like, what
is happening?
What is
right?
going on?
Yeah.
And I know it's because I'm not a massive fan of these properties. I don't know the world.
Yep.
And but to me, it was like I'm a bit confused by what all this is. Who's this paladin guy? What's his job? Where's he been?
Yeah,
What can he do? What can any of them do? What's the monarchy in this world?
That's true.
And
I
they
mean-
sort of explain it as it
Yeah.
goes. But initially, I'm like, this is a lot of information I don't know.
And it's also a problem with this kind of movie is that there's a magic system in place, but you don't know what anybody like.
Yeah.
You don't know what people's power levels are.
That being said, they did a good job of pretty much basically going, green magic is bad, blue magic is good.
Sure,
So that was a good visual distinction to
Yeah,
make. It's like in Star Wars, like you know who the bad guys are because the lightsabers
Right,
and whatever.
Yeah.
So that I didn't mind, but yeah, it's a bit kind of, it was a bit like, what can these guys kind of do? Yeah.
Here's a question for you and the listener,
Sure.
the one listener we have, our weekly wackadoo.
Terry.
Hey Terry, it's good to hear from you, mate. I always feel Warcraft is a very like it's quite not campy, but it's like it's quite irreverent.
Yeah.
Like I remember playing I only ever played Warcraft 2,
Right.
but it was very like all the designs are kind of silly.
Yeah.
And you know all the orcs and humans have funny little things to say, and they're kind
Right.
of like and I as I understand it, that inherent campiness is not, and that silliness, the irreverence hasn't really gone away. Like it's more grim and grittier, but they're
Sure.
still kind of everybody's still kind of not taking it that seriously.
Right, yeah.
But this movie's very earnest. Like
Yeah.
this is it's taking itself very seriously. What do you reckon about that? Did it work?
Yes and no, because I just think honestly, the human side wasn't cast that well. Like the king,
It's Dominic Cooper,
that
nice guy.
that doesn't work at
He
all.
didn't feel.
He was kind of tiny.
Yeah, he didn't feel regal or.
He had a weird haircut.
Yeah. Also, I think when I think also of Warcraft, I think, and it's a different franchise, but I think they're very similar in their origins. I think of Warhammer,
Right, yeah.
where all the human characters are also huge monster creatures.
Yeah.
Like I feel they have the same source material. They're not, they're obviously not the same
no,
franchise,
of
but
course not, yeah.
yeah, like these guys were just kind of. I wanted some more like monstrous men. I don't know what's going on there.
So you didn't. So what about the Ragnar Lothbrok as the main guy, the guy from Vikings?
He always seemed drunk. Was
He's
he
a
drunk?
bit. No, he's a bit like that. Like in the,
Yeah.
he's Australian.
Okay.
He's a bit kind
You're
of.
saying the actor is
slurry.
quite drunk.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
No, but that's kind of his acting kind of. Yeah, I can see they were kind of going for this Aragorn kind of thing, and he didn't quite get there.
Yeah,
but I think he did okay.
Unhinged.
The young kid wizard.
Yeah.
He looked like a kid from a Disney show or something.
Didn't buy him as the.
Not really.
Okay,
no.
yeah, mhm.
And you know what? I saw him in an interview, and like you look older and more wizardy in real life than you did in the movie.
Right.
Maybe it was a little moustache and
Yeah, okay.
whatever. I don't know what was going on.
What did you buy Ben Foster as the ultimate, this guardian character he's been helping the human world for generations or whatever it
Not
is?
as much as I would have liked to.
Mm-hmm.
He did okay, but the thing about Ben Foster is he's quite good at sinking into a role. If you ever seen him in 30 Days of Night, he plays this real creepy kind of.
Yep, he's also good in 310 to Yuma.
310 to Yuma, exactly. He can do that, but this, I don't know if it was exactly suited to him. I didn't entirely buy. First of all, his motivations.
Yep.
Like he'd been. Oh wait, spoilers.
No, I think we've still got a little bit more to say.
Okay, fine.
You can talk around it. Let's see you talk around something. Here we go.
What am I doing?
Yep.
Yeah, I wasn't. His motivations to me weren't entirely clear.
Yeah.
Or he didn't convey that, or maybe I just didn't pick up on it.
See, that's the thing. Like, I feel that he's that character's supposed to be quite a conflicted character as to
Right.
what his motivations are. He's being pulled in different directions.
Yeah.
And I think if you were familiar with the character from the games,
Yeah.
you'd be like, oh, obviously the way he's acting is because of these reasons.
Yeah.
But if you don't know, you're just like, what are you doing, mate? Come on. Yeah.
Let's talk Callum Mulvey. Was that him?
Look, it didn't. Is he listed as uncredited cameo?
Couldn't tell you.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's talk special effects then.
Okay, let's do it.
Orcs generally good, especially face stuff.
Yep.
They did all that mo capture stuff. Like a lot of it was in frame or whatever.
Okay.
You can shoot because it used to be like that. You'd film something and it'd just be like Brendan Fraser kicking a room full of nothing, and then they put in mummies around him or whatever. But this is all it's like Planet of the Apes. Everybody's there.
But there are no real sets in this movie.
There are,
Yeah.
but then it feels like they go away towards the end of the movie.
Yes.
A lot of green screen.
That is if we're talking effects, I definitely felt like things got there was less and less detail I felt as it progressed. Like we were talking, the orcs look great.
Yeah.
Especially early on when there's some emoting. But there's scenes later on where there's orcs fighting orcs at one point.
Right.
I don't think that's a spoiler. But it's sort of, I felt they sort of started losing resolution towards the end. Like it's just, they're like, oh, we just have them smash into each other and have some dust come up or whatever, and it'll be fine.
Yeah. No, I can't really argue with that. This movie is actually cheaper than what you'd think. It was like $140 million.
Oh, bargain.
I know, right?
Bargain.
It was something like that. But in terms of like Batman, Superman was like 250.
Yeah.
And Civil War was 250. Do you know what I mean? Like, so they did a lot with the budget comparatively for what they had to do.
I guess that's true. But then when I think of a Batman v Superman, for example, a lot of that extra money is Ben Affleck paycheck, probably.
Sure, yeah.
That
at
counts.
least 50 million.
There's no big stars in Warcraft.
It doesn't seem to be as much. No.
Except for Callum Mulvey.
Of course.
If indeed he was in that.
Yeah.
And
he was.
Okay, great. And also, yeah, I guess, where does the rest of the money go? Real sets, I guess?
Yeah, I guess so. I did enjoy... I liked the exaggerated world and weapons and shields and armors.
Me too, yeah.
I really liked that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I thought the king armor didn't entirely work. The weird lion helmet.
Oh yeah,
wore,
right.
I thought that was a little strange. But
yeah, I mean,
generally,
I guess it's very easy to make any kind of medieval style world look really cheap.
Yes.
If the armor and stuff doesn't look right, it'll look really cheap. But also it can't be real looking armor because it's an exaggerated world, but it can't look too far to the other side because then it's it's people playing dress up. But I think all the costumes look really good, yeah.
Really
and I also think with the orc designs, like, there's one of the guys has like, is it like crocodile skeletons on his shoulders or something like that?
Something like that.
And they look quite like they weren't over designed.
No.
It seemed to be from the same school as like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2.
That kind of bizarre,
where they're like, okay, we need to personalize them, but me personally, I don't think it was over designed.
Okay, fair enough. I did enjoy in this.
Oh yes.
As far as the human characters, well, it was a real person. Gamora, who was the actress who played her, I can't remember. Thought she was pretty good. What was her name? Little tusks looked a little weird.
Paula Patton.
That's it, yeah.
Who was in Mission Impossible?
One
4.
of them.
She's in Mission Impossible 4, Ghost Protocol, the best of the Mission Impossibles.
Before Tom Cruise scared her off like he does all these female leads.
Correct.
Should we talk spoilers?
Let's talk spoilers. Anyway, so we should give a rating.
Sure.
Look, it was fine.
Yeah.
Look,
it's not something I could recommend to somebody who doesn't know anything about this world.
Right.
I think it's one of those things where if it was on like Netflix or streaming or whatever.
If it wasn't an adaptation of something, would anybody recommend it? Like if it wasn't.
Sure. Yeah, that's a good question.
Look, here's.
I think I would view it differently because as far as taking all the material of the world and funneling it into a 2-hour movie.
Yep.
It's a really good effort.
I think so, yeah.
At the same time, if it wasn't that, would it just be convoluted and weird?
Yeah, there wouldn't be enough. You'd spend the whole movie going, how do those guys know each other?
Yeah.
And I mean, I still did do that.
Yeah. But you know that there's a backstory to that.
Yeah, right. Look, this is rather than saying best movie ever or worst movie ever, I'm going to say, if you woke up in the cinema and Warcraft was playing, I wouldn't leave.
Right.
I'd
be
like,
that's
keep
true.
watching this.
I didn't hate it. There were bits that I liked more than others.
Yeah.
Now we might be getting another one of these because it did really well in China.
That's true. Yeah.
And I think it would have been more beneficial to tell a smaller story.
Right. Okay.
To start with.
Define smaller story.
Like, and you know the way that Lord of the Rings starts, for example, which is like
a song.
Yes, a weird song about washing dishes. No, that's the Hobbit. But it starts with a focus on Hobbit character, and then it introduces Gandalf and magic, and then Elven village, and then Mordor, and then it kind of expands outwards. I think that's kind of the way.
So what you're saying is, if we're doing another Warcraft movie, we should get J.R.R. Tolkien, to write it.
Correct.
Bring him back from the dead. But I mean, at the same time, if you did build it like that, if you built a fantasy movie like that, I reckon a lot of people will be like, they've just stolen the structure from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, but you do. Yeah, maybe.
Just do it better then. Just do it better than Lord of the Rings. Just do a fantasy movie better than Lord of the Rings. That's your solution, isn't it?
I think it's a good template because Lord of the Rings could have fallen into the trap of... Because Lord of the Rings has an equally complicated mythology.
That's true, yeah.
But they did a good job of kind of slowly introducing it.
Yeah.
And I think this is a little too heavy too soon for people who don't know the world.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That makes sense. It was all right.
Yeah, if you woke up in the cinema, like I said.
Okay, spoilers.
Yeah, let's do it.
Glenn Close was in a CGI
Glenn
cloak
Close is in
rock.
it for what that was. Glenn Close out of nowhere. She must know Duncan Jones then, I guess.
I guess.
Right?
I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm sure someone could definitely tell me what that was, but what was that?
Then when he had to walk into a weird black liquid floaty thing.
Yeah.
Great, good.
I'm not against it. I just don't know what... I mean, that was kind of... I got the point was to be like, you're now the protector of the realm or whatever. Like, I understand that.
Yeah.
But I guess she's kind of like an overseer of everything.
Yeah, right.
Kind of like an oracle of sorts.
Now, I mentioned this to you as we left the movie theater. Do you think they...
You said, is this a bin? No.
You asked if it was a bin. I knew it was a bin. Do you think they gave Glenn Close a costume fitting and stuff like that? Or do you think she just showed up and they tilted the camera slightly... And they just CGI'd everything around.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah,
I think she probably did it in front of a green screen because that cloak was CGI.
Yeah.
Yeah. She probably just wore a form-fitting outfit and they just went from there.
Correct.
Yeah.
What else happened in this movie?
Toby Kebbell was also one of those bald wizards.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Which was good to see. I like that guy a lot. Dwarves gave guns out. I liked the guns.
Oh, I forgot about the guns,
That was
right?
pretty good, man.
Do you think guns are a game breaker in this kind of fantasy universe? I mean, I know they have them in...
They seem to be like a one-off.
That's true, yeah.
You kind of got to pack the...
You have to pack it
It's
like...
probably a giant square bullet.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, towards the end, it just became waves of people just hitting each other.
Yeah. It seems like that... And Duncan Jones, if this is true, has been really good at not letting on that there was some major studio interference.
Oh, yes.
In terms of like, you need this, you need to streamline this end sequence needs to be that, you need to explain this character. And in doing so...
And to his credit, he didn't.
No, but it feels like something to this happened along the way. They did push it back quite a bit.
Yep.
Yeah. So the wizard was bad. He was a bad bloke.
Oh, yeah, he was a bad bloke, yep. Surprise.
He was being corrupted. He's corrupted by a demon. At one point, he turned into a demon, but luckily, a big clay man fell on him.
That's true. I think that was... I guess that was well set up in the sense that you knew Lil Wizard had that power.
Yeah.
And so you knew where that... Like, he didn't... So the problem often with these things is somebody pulls a magic power out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And you... Because it worked in the sense that we knew he had some, like... You know, throw people around magic powers and he could shoot a fireball or whatever.
Yeah.
And we knew he could do the teleport thing.
Yeah.
And so at the end, it didn't come out of nowhere.
No,
so
no,
that was
it
fine.
didn't. No, I'm okay with that sequence.
We're actually recording, right? Did we remember?
Yeah. That's
Okay, cool. Okay, good.
I thought something more was going to come of the fact that he had no shoes on. Like Die Hard.
Die Hard style, right, exactly.
The main guy loses his shoes and then he jumps on a griffin. Pretty sweet shot.
Yeah.
And then he flies and then he fights a dude.
Good
Cuts a
CGI
guy-
animals. I don't think I mentioned that. The big dire wolves,
Definitely,
they
were good. But you know that bit how he fights the guy who kills his son? Actually, I found that bit, that was quite touching, how he lost his son.
Okay,
I thought
sure.
that was pretty effective. Yeah, and then he slashed that guy in the balls at the
Oh, yeah, that's true, yeah.
That was pretty...
Yeah, that was okay, yeah.
And you know what, I also liked that so we lost some main characters.
Uh-huh.
I not enjoyed it, but I thought that was it also did well to set up, apparently that their kid that they have goes on to be like a big player in the Warcraft universe. But
I guess if you don't know the characters, then you don't know who's going to live and die.
Yeah, that's
I guess
right.
that's an advantage if you don't know the characters. If you do, you go, well, okay, I know that person can't die and that person can't die, so
that's right.
they're going to live on forever.
Again, but that all comes back to the orc stuff. I found much more. Whenever they would go to the orcs, then I was way more invested than it was with the humans. And I liked how the Toby Kebbell orc had a showdown with the wizard, and the wizard was like cheating and like sucking his life force out of him.
That's
or whatever.
true. Yeah,
I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I don't know if I entirely bought there's honor among orcs, but sometimes there is no honor. And sometimes because they're like, we'll never fight alongside you because you don't have any honor. And then he's like, but kill all the humans, and they're like, okay.
But he did like suck the soul out of like 3 of them.
I guess
when
that's
they
true.
turned their back.
All right.
He's a pretty
I
scary
reckon if
bloke.
they piled on,
Right,
they
yeah.
could have ripped his head off.
Yeah, probably.
That's all I'm saying.
He's probably full of weird green goo though.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to see another one?
Oh, good question. Maybe because like just in terms of visual style, I would like to see more of that world.
Right.
Like they could go to a wizarding realm. I want to see more wizards, certainly.
More wizards?
I do like wizards.
More wizardy wizards.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. And one thing I posted on Twitter I thought was interesting. It
Yes.
was an interviewer just attacking Duncan Jones for
Oh,
things
sure,
that he
yeah.
didn't like about the movie.
A man whose dad recently died.
Yeah, that's right.
Sure.
And he's just like, I didn't like this. Don't you think that maybe you weren't the best person to direct this? And he was just like, and Duncan Jones just bloody handled it. And he was really polite and he had a really, he clearly thought about the world and he's clearly passionate about it. And he had an answer for everything, but not like a jerk.
Yep.
He clearly thought it through.
Hey, you know what I just realized? We didn't mention it. This is a movie adapted from a video game that is not total garbage.
Yes.
He's done it. He did it. Good work, Duncan Jones.
Is it the best video game movie?
Yes, it is.
Is it better than Prince of Persia?
Oh.
say it
Ooh, I'm going to say
probably is.
tie. I'm going to say it's a tie. I always forget about Prince of Persia.
Prince of Persia is more of a kind of a Pirates of the Caribbean kind of fun times.
That's
I'm
true.
surfing on bloody sand.
Oh,
or
and also
whatever.
another thing I forgot, you always got to look out for whatever game mechanic they want to shove
Yeah.
into the movie. And of course we had, here's a orc encampment and here's a human encampment and we'll zoom back and forth so it
Yeah,
looks like
pretty
it's,
good.
top-down Warcraft
Loved
point
it.
and click. Yep, you loved it?
We loved that bit.
Great, yeah.
We turned to each other and thumbs up.
Yeah, we
through
did,
that
that's true.
bit.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I think Duncan Jones is it's probably what's third in terms of for me for his movies like Source Code and Moon. I really enjoyed, and this
Yep.
I kind of enjoyed, but I think it'd be good to give him maybe another crack at this. But I don't think this is like a situation with Josh Trank where he just didn't scorch the earth because people didn't like his movie.
That's true,
Because
yeah.
he's out on Twitter going, "Hey, if you like it, that's great. If you don't, that's cool." Like
Right, exactly,
He
yeah.
doesn't. He's handling himself really well, and I just think that I know he's clearly very intelligent. And he clearly, I don't know, he clearly is a good director. I'd like to see. I'd like to know what he's going to do next.
I think there may be even... There might even be like a movie director playbook now that says don't trank it. Like that's been written in. Like if you make a movie and it turns out not to be the movie we all wanted,
Yeah,
just write it out.
exactly.
It'll be fine.
Just write it out.
Yeah.
because good directors make bad movies. Sometimes bad directors make good movies.
Sometimes bad directors make bad movies.
Sometimes
they just have a career for a really long time. It's weird, right?
it certainly is. So I whatever he does next, I want to say it.
And also, what I do think is a positive from this movie is that this is going to give him enough, because it's done so well, especially in China.
Yeah.
That's going to give him enough Hollywood juice maybe to make a movie that he is super invested in.
But this one, he's a massive, massive Warcraft fan.
Okay.
Yeah. So this was like a passion project for him.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The Weekly Planet fans page
Yes.
at the Weekly Planet. What a great Twitter handle.
I agree.
They threw out a Twitter. Which super detailed Weekly Planet pod style review would you give Warcraft? Best movie ever, worst movie ever, just a movie. So it's 20% best movie ever, 13% worst movie, 67% just a movie.
Okay.
So yeah. There you go.
There you go. That's probably pretty accurate.
Anything else?
Oh, that'll do it, I think.
All right then, let's do the next segment.
Yes.
It's called What We're Reading.
Oh, yeah.
And
Oh, what we're going to read.
there
Yeah,
he is.
Great.
He's back. I'm doing the thing. What are we reading today?
I've been watching Elementary. I'm years behind on it.
American Sherlock.
Yeah, American Sherlock with Johnny Lee
With
Miller.
British
and,
Sherlock.
Yeah, with British Johnny Lee Miller and Lucy Liu as Joan Watson.
I hate the intro.
Oh, with the little rotating gun thing.
It's like a ball kicks a gun and it
What do you
falls
think of the
into a
show?
wheel.
Because this is my first time watching this.
I watched 2 or 1. Didn't
Two
like
episodes or one episode? I
Maybe.
like it a lot.
Oh,
I think
really?
it's fun.
Okay.
He's not as in... Look, and again, I like a lot of the British Sherlock.
Yeah.
There are some episodes that are really on the nose for me. And I
Yeah.
think the difference is between the American one and the British one is that Stephen Moffat really, really loves all his main characters, and he cannot bear for them to get into any real trouble or to not be the best at all times.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And that really grinds on me a lot of the time with Sherlock.
yeah.
But this character is much more fallible.
Yeah.
And he's got
He's more druggy, isn't he?
He's more and he's got real problems, and he's like there's moments in it where he's like, he's talking to Joan Watson, and he's like, okay, I can determine from this and this and this that this is the reason you're acting like this is because of this and this and this, and then it turns out it was just a guess. Like he doesn't have have all the clues all the time. Sometimes he's just guessing. Sometimes he's taking credit for things. His own kind of thing.
So he's a bit of a kind of a con man at the same time.
Yeah, he's got a nice arrogance to him, but he's not infallible.
Yeah,
and they're all pretty good. They might. I mean, I've only watched like 5 episodes. I think they might get a bit samey after a while.
Do you think they're going to make out Sherlock and Watson?
I don't think they will.
Okay.
I mean, I say that now, but they probably have. I mean, there's like 4 seasons of it out now. So
yeah, they churn them out, don't they?
Yeah.
Apparently, with that show, they went to the British guys and they were like, "Can you help us adapt Sherlock?" And they were like, "Nah." And they went, "Well, we're just going to do one anyway because it's out of copyright."
Yeah, that's true.
Anybody can make a Sherlock show.
What? Something that I maybe don't like about it so much is they've kind of minimized Joan Watson's role.
Right.
Like she's an ex-surgeon, but she's not. She was never in the military. Like.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, as far as I know.
Yeah.
I mean, she doesn't. She's very much. So far, she's very much like this. She just hangs around Sherlock. She doesn't have any action sequences or anything.
Isn't she like
that.
his babysitter kind of thing?
Yeah, she's his like sober sponsor.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Pretty good though.
All right.
Yeah.
I won't watch it because I have too much stuff to watch.
Yeah, and if you didn't care for the first couple, it's fine.
Yeah. No, I didn't hate it. I was just like, whatever.
Yeah.
I read The Dark Knight Returns: The Last Crusade, which is a prequel story to The Dark Knight Returns.
When did this come out?
Earlier this week.
Huh.
A lot of it.
Who wrote this?
Frank Miller with some other people. It was one of those things where like they don't give Frank Miller full control because
Good idea.
he's insane.
Is Dark Knight 3 finished?
No, it struggles along.
So why has this come out now?
It's The Dark Knight. It keeps getting delayed and pushed back, and nothing's really happening.
Yeah.
At first, I even talked about in the show. I was pretty positive about it, but it's so few and far in between. It's taking so long for anything to happen.
Yep.
I'm just like, I don't know, man. It's hard to stay enthused about something that I keep forgetting about.
That's true.
You know?
What's the art style like of this?
It's the guy, the Kick-Ass guy.
Oh, John Romita Jr.?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
and
interesting.
I don't always like his art style. I don't think it always works. For Superman, I didn't think it, when he did a run of Superman, I didn't think that particularly works. For Batman, it absolutely does.
I guess, yeah, you're right.
I enjoyed the story overall. It's really rushed at the end, so much so that I thought, is there another one coming? Like, is that it?
Now, how? So this is a prequel to Dark Knight Returns.
It's 10 years before.
10 years before. Okay.
Yeah. And I like the Batman because he's slowing down.
Yep.
But he's not completely out of the game. But he's just sore and slow.
Right. Okay.
And just hating himself. And his goal is just like, just get Robin better so I can get out of this.
Oh,
so I like that element of it.
What? Hang on. What's he want to do?
Get Robin into the Bat
role. Okay.
Bat role. But at the same time, it's like he's not ready, so I got to keep doing this.
Okay, sure, right.
And I keep getting hurt. Like all the time.
Yeah.
But it's more good than bad, but it's very rushed towards the end.
Yeah.
I feel like it could have been a few issues or a longer story.
I had no idea this was coming. This is so weird. To me, this has kind of jumped out of nowhere. Has this been on the boil for a long time?
It's been on the boil.
It's a one shot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Though it's called, when you download it from Comixology, it's like issue 1. So I'm like, oh, great. But I as far as I know, it's done. But it feels like it shouldn't be.
Right, okay. Very odd. Do you think they should be filling in these gaps?
You know what? The Dark Knight Returns legacy is all over the place.
Yeah, isn't it?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
after they did 2, all bets are off.
Yeah,
yeah.
Damn right.
It's better than 2.
Cool.
Like,
Great.
much better than 2.
Can't wait for 4.
That's right.
4 is for all Frank Miller again, right?
So he says.
Oh, so good. Can't wait for it. Madness.
Another thing that I watched, and we're going to do a sponsored episode on this. So this is a free one, Mason, for you.
Oh, great.
Well, yeah, that's how that works. So I watched 2 episodes. I got given 2 episodes of Stranger Things.
It's a freebie for them.
Freebie for
what
them.
it is.
Sorry, yeah. Which is an upcoming Netflix show. And we're going to talk about it more in depth later, but it's great. And I'm not saying that because we are getting sponsored for it.
A company approached us who are representing Netflix, and they're like, can you be sponsored by us and talk about it?
Yeah.
And we said, we will do it. But if it's not good, we will not say that it's good.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
Like, we'll take your money.
Yeah.
But if this is bad, we'll just go, why don't you watch it and see what you think? Kind of thing. But it's kind of the canary in the coal mine. Where it's like, bit of a heads up, guys. If we don't specifically say it's good, it's bad.
Yeah.
But you've watched it and it actually is
That being
good.
said, I've only seen 2 because I've only got given 2, but I really enjoyed it. It's what Super 8 tried to be and missed the mark.
So it's kind of...
It's like
Spielberg-esque?
Spielbergy. It's like it's E.T., it's Goonies, it's X-Files, and I don't mean it's not like a mishmash. of
Right.
that.
It's its own thing.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I really enjoyed it, and I wished I had more of them to keep. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Great.
Look,
Well,
we're gonna do a paid episode about it. So.
Let's not give away all our
Yeah.
talking about a thing
Yeah.
now. If you're any good at anything, don't do it for freebies.
That's what they say.
That's what the Joker said.
That's what he says.
You know what I say?
What?
It's time for letters.
Classic one was letters, oh letters, we love you. Some letters, they're only a day away. You know they're here right now. We're gonna do letters.
You took charge of your destiny.
I did it. I'm the king of destiny.
For every week, Mason plays it through his phone, and sometimes it's better than others.
Yeah, I think that was a very good one.
I agree. So if you want to send us a letter, it's a tweet.
Yep.
It's hashtag Weekly Planet Pod, and we go
Yeah.
through them and pick a
Oh,
few.
which reminds me, a bit of housekeeping. Last week, I asked people to tweet at me who they would like.
There's One Punch Man.
One Punch Man and Rick and Morty, if they did live action versions. A lot of people said Michael Cera for both One Punch Man and Morty. So if he's got time for both. A lot of people, I got Aaron Paul, somebody said for One Punch Man.
Okay, yeah.
Which works. But see, the issue for me is like your A-list stars are too good looking for for Saitama One Punch Man.
Sure.
Because he's just so bland.
Yeah.
But if you get a character actor, they often have a weird physical attribute.
Right,
Like
right.
they're like,
yeah,
they've got big ears, or they've got a very specific brow, which is why they're character actors. You go, oh, that's that guy. So there's
Interesting, yeah.
very few people who are like right in the middle, who have nothing. And
Yeah.
Aaron Paul could work because he's got a good bald head, but you'd have to kind of bland him up in CGI.
Take his eyebrows off.
Yeah, you take his eyebrows off. Like, he's a handsome man, right?
Yeah, but he's not
Yeah.
Brad Pitt.
Yeah. A lot of people said Bill Murray for Rick. That's the face I made, which is kind of, Bill Murray's a good, great comedic actor. But when was the last time he raised his voice or did anything?
Yeah.
He did anything physical on screen. I can't really think of it. Somebody, hang on, I'll bloody find it. Bloody
There's a
find-
few really good ones.
Yeah, I think so. Alex Muth
Yeah.
on Twitter, he said John Slattery from Mad Men.
Yep, like that.
Look at that.
That's
he
pretty
sent a
dead
photo of he's looking quite
I wonder if he's
haggard.
I wonder if he's got the improv kind of chops though.
Ah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Maybe.
There's a few good ones. I can't even remember the other
Neither
ones.
can I.
There was-
Shouldn't have brought it up, really.
Yeah, what are you doing?
I don't know. But there was a lot of Bill Murrays.
Yeah.
Charlie Cox is One Punch Man. That doesn't work.
Who's
He's
he?
too bland. He's Wait, no, he's not bland.
He's Daredevil.
Yeah. No, he's too good looking.
Nah.
Yeah.
nah.
It's because sometimes I'm like, it's kind of hard to tell, right?
You need to see the shaved head.
Yeah, you need to see the shaved head. You kind of need to see him without makeup as
Yeah.
well, I think.
And he's always got that 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah.
He'd probably look real dull if you took all his hair off.
Right. Kay on Twitter has said Patrick Wilson for One Punch Man. I think he's got too, but that's the thing. I think he's got too much going on. Like he's quite handsome. He's a handsome
He is.
guy, right?
I'm looking at
It's hard to get in. It's hard to get into the Hollywood game if you're not handsome on some level.
Yeah. I'm looking at the One Punch Man workout. It's 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, 10K running. I could do that.
Could you fight a monster though? Could you?
No,
fight,
that's
could
what
you
I'm
fight
saying,
a
like,
giant crab man in his underpants?
My point is that would not prepare you for fighting a crab
Oh no,
man.
definitely not.
Yeah, I'd get killed.
What about Larry David for Rick?
Oh yeah.
He's an improv guy.
Yeah, he's an
certainly.
improv guy,
But
yeah.
I don't think he'd have the patience for everything else.
For all the sci-fi.
For all the sci-fi stuff, unless you CGI'd him everywhere else.
Right.
Like if you got a stunt man,
Yeah.
and CGI'd Larry David's face on and had him just do dialogue, and then in the improv scenes you just had him improv. But I don't think he'd have the patience to sit around and be like, "There's some monsters from Planet Global or whatever."
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
They're actually doing another season of Curb.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
It's pretty good. All right, do you want me to get straight into the bloody
Let's get
letters?
into the letters.
Hashtag Weekly Pod. This is from Austin Bell.
John Malkovich is Rick. Did we mention that last time?
That works.
Yeah. Man, maybe just keep it as animated because it's an amazing show.
That's what I'm all about.
Probably, yeah.
Austin says, what are the best worst changes from source material to film, or ones that you think worked well? So stuff that worked well for source material changes and ones that didn't.
Oh, yeah.
Steel is terrible.
Correct.
The Amazing Spider-Man 2, for me, is a combination of really good adaptations
Yep.
and really terrible adaptations.
Okay, sure.
And the reason for that is because And I think we were pretty positive on that movie when it came out because it just throws everything at the wall. Like the costume's great.
Yeah,
The death of Gwen Stacy I think's really good.
Mm-hmm.
But you've also got the Goblin design, which is nonsense. The weird convoluted backstory, the train in the floor.
Yeah,
you
right,
know what I mean? Like
yeah.
it's the Sinister Six setup.
Yeah.
Like it's just a mess. But some of it works. You
Agreed.
got any stuff that got any ones?
Actually, I had a conversation with somebody, and we've mentioned this so many times, but we were talking about Iron Man 3.
Right.
I had a conversation with somebody with Iron Man 3, who is somebody who wasn't a big fan of Iron Man growing up as I was.
Yeah.
And he was like, I really loved how Guy Pearce was the bad guy at the end.
Okay,
And I took it out of the equation, me being really mad that they made... Because my feeling about that character has always been, okay, revealing that the Mandarin was just a drunk actor in that movie is the equivalent of if you were a really big fan of Batman and it turned out the Joker was just a kid's party clown.
Right.
And the real villain was just that accountant who threatened to revel Batman's true identity in that one scene. It turned out he was the bad guy all along.
Yeah.
And I'm like, from the perspective of somebody who doesn't know anything about Iron Man, that is a really good twist.
Yeah.
Turns out I've been really mad about nothing for a really long time.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of that movie that doesn't hold up.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Like the grappling.
Yeah. What about Joseph Gordon-Levitt as One Punch Man?
Yeah, I think that works. And he went bald in 50-50.
Yeah, that's true.
And he looked very bland.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What about Danny DeVito as Rick?
Nah.
Yeah, okay.
He could play something in that world.
Yeah.
But not
What
Rick.
about Sam Rockwell as either Rick or One Punch Man?
He'd be a good Rick.
Yeah, okay.
He'd be a great Rick,
You want
actually.
to lock in Sam Rockwell?
I'm locking that
Okay.
in.
Okay.
I'm rocking it in.
It's a Lockwell on Sam Rockwell as Rick. We did it. We did it.
Who suggested that?
Let's see. That was, I think a couple of people mentioned, but Sean Roney on Twitter, at Roney Sean.
Well done.
Twitter. He did it.
Well done, mate.
Yeah,
You bloody
that's the
did
Oh,
first
it.
one I saw.
This is from Batman or at art_Vanderlei_EH.
Great.
Thoughts on CBS scrapping MacGyver and getting James Wan to direct a new one? Will he get a better haircut?
Wait, is this actually happening?
Yes, the MacGyver pilot as the trailer we saw.
Oh, this isn't just a rumor.
No. Apparently this is happening.
Nice.
They're scrapping all that and they're going to redo it with James Wan's going to do the pilot, which is what I just said, I guess.
Wait, so he's not doing a movie, he's doing another pilot.
Yes.
Huh.
I like it
Yeah.
because did I hate that trailer? I think I did.
Yeah, there were two trailers that came out that same
It
week.
was the Lethal Weapon one.
Yeah.
And this, and I hated them both, but maybe I hated that one.
I
MacGyver
quite
less.
liked the Lethal Weapon one.
Okay.
Against all odds, I quite liked it. But MacGyver looked very strange and very... Look, it's me, MacGyver. I'm doing MacGyver things. Like, it wasn't, here's a character, he develops some skills and uses his skills, and then you go, oh, it's MacGyver. It was, I'm MacGyver like the MacGyver you remember, and I'm sassy and doing MacGyver stuff. MacGyver.
Terrible haircut.
Terrible.
As well.
The worst haircut. The worst haircut imaginable. Because we can't give him a mullet.
No, you can't.
But we can't give him regular hair, because then how would you know he's MacGyver?
That's right.
If he doesn't have silly...
Longish hair.
Longish hair, yeah.
Yeah, great. It's got a much better chance of being good.
Are they recasting?
I don't know. I don't think they would. It's all the wheels are in motion. They do this
Because
every
I
now
say
and then.
Michael Cera for MacGyver. I don't say that. Not true.
Sam Rockwell would be a good MacGyver.
Yeah.
He's a loose unit, mate.
Yeah.
That bloke. Yeah,
Or
great.
you get Will Forte,
Who's he again?
MacGruber, as MacGyver.
Yeah, we kind of got a MacGyver movie, didn't we? In that. Yeah. That's cool. This is from Humorous Huberus
Ooh.
on Twitter. Hey, Nick and James, what do you think is a bigger waste of money? Arkham Asylum or the Weapon X program?
That's a good question. Because people keep busting out of both.
Yeah.
And they just cause trouble.
The Arkham Asylum seems to be an ongoing disaster.
Right, exactly.
It's just, they keep closing it and reopening. The Weapon X is kind of like a one and done. And they kind of vaguely bring it back. But whenever we see it, it's normally a flashback.
Yeah,
Not always.
that's true,
They
yeah.
do bring it back every now and then.
Like it keeps... It's since evolved to different Weapon Plus programs. But yeah, it's all...
Because the Deadpool movie it's technically a Weapon
That's a
X
Weapon X,
program.
yeah. And in the comic books we've had... There's a character called Weapon X who has like cybernetic arms and his hands pop off and stuff like that.
Cool.
And then we had a series of other ones. Like at one point, they're developing weapon candidates in like a virtual world where time moves faster.
Right.
There's a character called Phantom X, and he's a very good character. I like him.
But is he costing anyone money? That's the question. Which is a bigger waste of money.
No, that's very true. Yeah, like on the scale of regular citizens being consistently murdered because the security is lax, I'm going to go with Arkham Asylum.
Yes.
They're definitely worse.
Because a lot of the time, not always, but when somebody breaks out of the Weapon X program, they burn it down and then go on to do goodish things.
That's true, and there's a few years where they have to rebuild Weapon X, but Arkham Asylum, they're just like, I don't understand, they escaped again. I don't know, anyway, I'm still the administrator of this facility for some reason. I'm wildly unless they get killed.
Yeah.
And then the next most corrupt guy gets in again, right?
Yeah. And maybe he's running for mayor also or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's definitely... especially in terms of damage to the society.
Yeah.
It's definitely Arkham. A lot of lunatics come out of this. Okay, we've got one last thing. It's sort of a question, sort of a tweet.
What about Richard Dean Anderson as MacGyver?
You could do that.
Right.
Bring him back, mate.
Bring him back.
Have his son, little
thank
MacGyver.
you. Mm-hmm.
Frank Taylor says, and he brought this to my attention. Did I miss the update about hashtag Weekly Planet Pod being on Google Play Music? About damn time, you dickheads. Okay, so I looked into this.
It's news to me.
We are on Google Play Music.
Oh, great.
Months ago, they opened up the beta, and I tried to sign up for it, and it won't let you because you can't do it in Australia. You can't have it.
Fantastic.
So I used like several proxies and got it in.
Yep.
But then I just forgot about it.
Okay.
And it's there. But the thing is, I can't listen to it.
Sure.
My own podcast because it's still not available in Australia.
Okay, sure.
But for whatever countries Google Play Music is the thing, you can get it on your bloody Android or whatever.
Yeah. Spotify's rolling out podcasts as well.
Is it?
Yeah.
There's another thing I got to bloody look into.
I know, right? See, there's a little podcast tab.
Ooh.
Your favourite podcast will live here, it says.
Will it?
I don't know.
If I get around to it. And if presuming this is your favourite podcast. I know, right? Which it almost certainly isn't.
Yeah.
Anything else?
That's it, I think.
Let's wrap it up.
Okay, let's thank most of the people we should thank and forget about some other people.
I agree.
You can find us at Weekly Planet Pod on Facebook and Twitter and Gmail and Bandcamp. Hopefully we'll have that Independence Day commentary up pretty soon. I'm at Wikipedia Brown on Twitter.
I'm at Mr. Sunday Movies.
You should follow The Weekly Planet on Twitter.
Good stuff there.
We've got a Patreon, patreon.com/Mr. Sunday Movies.
We do.
We sell some t-shirts. They're on Redbubble through Golden Legend and Fergal Quigley.
Yes.
What's another thing we do?
You said Brute and the Basilisk, didn't you?
I will thank the Brute and the Basilisk and Rackham for our theme songs.
Yep.
We've got an Amazon affiliate link somewhere buried in the episode description.
I don't know.
Yep.
We got a check from them.
Oh, did we? Great.
Yeah, I went and took it into the bank.
And they were like, you can't.
Well, I
convert this
filled out.
over.
This isn't interesting, but I filled out a whole form, and then I need because you put it in an envelope and you put it in a little box, and then I turn over the back and it says if this is a non-Australian currency, don't put it in here.
I know.
And I was like, oh god. So then I had to go to the desk and be like, I had this check from Amazon for some reason. So they won't. And they're like, did you think about wire you the money? And I'm like, yeah, I fucking believe me. I looked into it. I didn't yell, but
you can't yell in that sort of place because they will have you thrown out.
Yeah,
sir, calm down, sir.
So. Yeah, thank you for everybody who's been
absolutely.
Using that.
If you're going to buy something anyway from Amazon, don't go out of your way. But if you're going to buy anything, just click on that link. You get to regular Amazon, and we get a piece of that for some reason.
So when that check clears in 3 months, I'll transfer you the money.
Fantastic! Oh, it's so exciting.
Yeah,
we haven't done the thing where we note the weird things that people buy. We should maybe do that.
Yeah, we should do that.
A couple episodes, maybe. Yeah.
When we're running low on content.
Exactly.
But next week, Independence Day, and then we've got like Tarzan, and there's a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
It's like a whole bunch of stuff in a row.
We've hit the bloody.
This is the point where people start emailing or messaging and being like, "Can you stop seeing movies? Because I don't want to see movies."
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll see what we can do.
We'll see how we go.
Look, we're in the machine now.
We certainly are. Mm-hmm. Good stuff. Done. I think that's all.
That's got to be it, right?
Yeah, that's fine. Mm-hmm. That's good stuff.
Okay, great.
Okay, bye everybody.
Grab that gem, you guys. See you later. Bye.